On the podcast this week, are you adding so much friction into how your customers pay you that you're actually harming your very own cash flow? Welcome to the Profit Cash Growth Podcast. This is the podcast for 6 and 7 figure business owners who are looking to grow a financially successful business. My co-host, Claire Hancott, is a finance director, chartered accountant and entrepreneur. And every week, I'll be exploring guidance and frameworks designed to help you increase your profits, improve your cash flow and grow your business. Right, Claire, we are persevering, aren't we? We're persevering through these illnesses.
This is just so annoying. It's not really like a proper cough and cold, like to the point where you need to take time off work and not do anything, but it's there. And of course, now I'm talking a lot on the podcast, I'm coughing a lot. So we do apologise in advance, but here we are. It was either this or we don't put an episode out.
And we would never let you down, would
exactly.
we? Never let you down.
So please excuse the coughs and splutters.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, should we find out what's on this week's news story of the week? So this week I picked out this one, which I thought was really interesting. It's, do we have less free time than our grandparents did, Claire? What do you think?
I don't think we do. In my head, I feel like our grandparents, like my grandpa went to work. My grandma would have been at home with the kids doing the chores during the working hour days. And then that would have been it. I mean, maybe it took a little bit longer to do the washing up than it did to load a dishwasher, and a little bit longer to cook dinner than it did to stick a ready meal in the oven. But I feel like they got life done during the 9 to 5. And so therefore they had free time outside of that. Interesting.
And this is why I picked out this news story. Because everything you've said, data suggests that it's the complete opposite. So this is fascinating because they've basically been working with people since the 1960s. So a group of people who basically, can you imagine doing this? They diligently use time diaries and at 10-minute intervals diarise their entire day at 10-minute intervals. So for example, feed the dog at 8, walk the dog at 8:10, clean up the dog at 8:20. And they've done this for many, many years now, so they can really track exactly how people spend their time and what they do and various other things. And the biggest thing in the survey is that we are, I don't know why they put richer, I don't think they would, but Britons are richer and less overworked than 60 years ago. We work significantly less hours than we did in the 1970s.
As in like work as in paid work? Or just general work?
Paid work. Well, we actually do a little bit less non-paid work as well, but it was an interesting story. So the one that I thought was particularly interesting was about sleep. Do you think versus the 1970s that we sleep more now or less now?
I think we probably spend more time in bed, but probably the quality of sleep, I reckon, has dropped dramatically. Because I think people say that they're going to sleep, but then they'll be on their phone scrolling, or they'll wake up in the middle of the night not able to sleep because we're not really like mentally in a good state, I think, as a nation at the moment. So yeah, I expect that statistically we get more sleep on paper, but I think the quality of that sleep is far lower.
Yeah, significantly more sleep, which is interesting. So in the 70s, they documented that their sleep was 7 hours and 23 minutes. And now the average sleep is 8 hours and 30 minutes, which is interesting. So we're sleeping more. We're working, our working week has shrunk considerably. We're obviously spending time on things like TV and films, which didn't exist.
Sorry, but the working week, is that because there's far more like part-time workers and flexible working and things like that?
I think the shrunk, so the average has come down,
but if you took full-time workers, it'd be interesting to say, if you just put full-time workers on that, do they work more hours or less?
Do you know what is interesting? And they've done this whole piece around household chores. So this is what you would expect, actually, which is nice from a survey that it actually matches what you expect. Do you think the number of hours that we spend per day on household chores is up or down from 1970 to today?
Well, it has to be down because of all the technology, dishwashers, ovens, ready meals.
It is. And
washing machines.
So this is exactly what you'd expect. So if I told you that in 1970, the time spent on household chores was 4 hours, how much do you think it is today?
Half?
Yeah, 2 today. So on average, we spend 2 hours per day. But this is fascinating. So what this company did as well is they took what they call non-paid work, i.e. household chores and things like that, and they put a value against it. as if it was paid work. And did you know that the value of unpaid household services was 1.7 trillion in 2023, which represents 61% of GDP? That's staggering, isn't it?
That's all those jobless people, isn't it? All the stay-at-home mums and the housewives. And I'm not surprised, actually.
So vast majority. I mean, the interesting thing is how much time, obviously, people now spend in entertainment, leisure, TV and those type of things.
I think, Simon, I'm just going to interject there and say that you've got to stop using the word interesting.
Why?
Because I'm not sure that I'm finding this that interesting.
Are you not? I thought it was absolutely fascinating. The final question was, what percentage of time, this is interesting, what percentage of time,
there you go.
There you go. What percentage of time do you think people spend at home this is only like in 10 years. So in 2015, what percentage of time do you think an adult spent at home?
What, you mean outside of the work?
What percentage of your total time do you think you spent in your home in 2015?
Like 60%?
71%. And what percentage in 2023 do you think people spent in their home?
80%.
77%. Does that not feel high to you?
Work from home. No,
to spend 70% of your time in one single environment sounds interesting.
Okay, so there's 24 hours in the day. Divide it by 3.
Yeah.
A third should be at work. A third should be in bed.
Yeah.
So you've only got a third to play with, really. And I think people are working from home more. And people are going out less because you can sit on your sofa and watch Netflix instead of going to the cinema, and you don't even need to go to a restaurant anymore. You've got Deliveroo. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, household chores used to be one of the most loathed activities. Now data suggests we'd rather clean the kitchen than go to work.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm not surprised by that.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that one caught my eye this week. It's always fascinating when they actually do studies of what you think your perception of something is. And do you know what? 9 times out of 10, I always find that the facts are almost totally contrarian to people's perception on these things. Don't you find the same? Well, you said it at the beginning, didn't you? You didn't expect this at all. Great. Right, let's move on to this week's Deep Dive. So, Claire, this week we're going to talk about how payment friction slows your cash flow in your business. And most importantly, you're going to tell them how to remove it. What are we talking about this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that probably 90% of businesses that we come across have probably just one method for their customers to pay them.
Is that what this is about, this episode? Sorry.
Yeah. And when there's only one way that your customer can pay you, if that's not convenient for your customer, or that particular method puts a barrier in place, that it in itself can lead to delayed payments. So what we're trying to do here is remove as much friction as possible and give your customers as many opportunities as possible to pay you, so that you are collecting cash as quickly as possible. Because what always happens inevitably, if you put friction in, somebody doesn't do something. You know, we know what it's like with our window cleaner. We used to have a window cleaner that put a ticket through our door, and then we'd have to log on to the banking app and pay him, and it would just be a pain. Whereas then we got a new window cleaner that just gave us a direct debit, and we never even had to think about it ever again. And we would pay him, isn't it? On the day he came every time.
It is baffling. You think I just think the effort that those people must put into chasing people and have you paid this?
Exactly.
And so even the best of us, I've no intention not to pay, but I missed the leaflet come through the door, and then they're then he's chasing me. I'm like, oh, did I pay? Didn't I pay? And I'm just thinking if he just literally dropped me a text and went, here's a link to direct debit, I wouldn't even ask me. I'd just make an assumption and say, can you move on to direct debit? Here's a link. I would yeah, it makes life much easier for me. And he just takes control. So
what we're going to talk about today is just 7 pieces of tech that are available at hardly any cost that could really help remove some of those friction points for your customers. And if we can remove a friction point, then I can almost guarantee that you will see payments coming in quicker from some of your customers, which leaves you with more time to focus on the customers that are a real problem and are not paying you because of a different reason.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be covering today.
Brilliant.
So some business owners might be sitting there thinking, I'm a B2B business, this doesn't apply to me, and that a lot of these are B2C, but I totally disagree. In this modern day of what's more, people are referring to B2Me, and that's essentially what that means is that you need to make your customer experience bespoke to the person that's buying from you, regardless whether it's a business or an individual that's buying from you.
Okay.
Because everybody now is very used to the world of the customer service that comes from the likes of Amazon and John Lewis and companies like that. And they now expect that from their working environment as well. I don't expect just to buy from Amazon as a consumer. I expect exactly the same service when I'm buying from Amazon as a business.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the concept that we're talking about here. Is a B2Me, and a lot of these 7 pieces of tech apply to businesses and B2C as well.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why you would ever treat anything differently. Why would you?
Exactly. So number 1 is probably the most obvious thing, and that's to offer your clients direct debit. Okay. And the easiest way to do this is with Go Cardless. So obviously we're a Xero first accountancy practice, and this integrates seamlessly with Xero. And it literally takes a couple of minutes to set up a Go Cardless account. And then Profit Cash Growth can help you integrate everything with Xero, so this works seamlessly. But as an accountancy firm now, we use Go Cardless, and when we send out a proposal to our clients, there'll be a link on there so they can sign up to a direct debit scheme at that point if they want to. And or when all of our invoices go out, there's a link to Go Cardless on there, and you have the option of paying for that one invoice via Go Cardless and or setting up a recurring direct debit to cover all payments moving forward.
So what are the reasons? I mean, this just seems like crazily, stupidly obvious to me. It's like, if I set up a business, I'd be like, this is the only, not the only way, but it's like, this is my best foot forward. It's like, you pay by direct debit. I'm telling you do that from the start. And then I deal with the objection there on in. What are the reasons why a business owner wouldn't set their customers up with direct debit? Because I deal with lots of suppliers that I pay regularly and they don't do it. I even have those that I've asked for it and they've said, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Why would they say that?
So but big businesses won't do this. They'll just say, I'm not doing that. And, you know, if somebody asks me to pay by direct debit, I don't want to pay by direct debit because I want to be in control of it. I want to pay that person on my terms when it suits my cash flow. But the reality is, so many business owners are not savvy enough to think about a direct debit like that, and that by agreeing to pay you by direct debit, they're essentially losing control of when that cash goes out of their bank. They don't think of it like that. So I think you'd be surprised how many of your customers would actually look at you offering direct debit. They're like, oh, thank God I don't have to remember to keep paying your invoices.
Yeah.
They'd probably look at it like that.
Depends on the business size, doesn't it? Because for a small business, if everything's on direct debit, yeah, we can talk about like the cash management element, but there is a huge administrative cost saving and distraction element that's saved for that business by not having to worry about it, isn't there? I know that because the few that I have where I've got to log into the bank, but they said to pay a payment on various things. It's like, and actually it becomes more annoying to them because they don't, when the majority of direct debit, these fall outside of a process that works elsewhere. So
exactly. So look, Go Cardless is our preferred one just because it's so easy to do and it integrates with Xero. As with everything, there obviously are fees associated with this. Go Cardless have a period where you have no fees when you're new at the start, and then the fees are dependent on your usage, but they can be anything from sort of 1% to 2%. So you do have to bear in mind that you will be losing 1% to 2% of your turnover essentially.
And that actually could be quite significant because there's a lot of businesses that only make 2% profit. So
yes,
you just ate your profit up. So.
Think of it like this. If you are paying to finance your business, so you've got debt in your business, I can guarantee that you're paying interest more than 1% or 2%.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to look at this as. So it's not going to be right for everybody, but for a lot of people, Go Cardless is just a really effective little link that automatically goes onto your invoices on Xero and allows your customers to pay you by direct debit.
Great. Cool.
Number 2.
Yep.
Some new functionality that's out in Xero is called Pay by Statement. So it now means that if you use the statement functionality in Xero, when your statements go out, there'll be a link on there that allows your client to easily settle the full balance on the statement in one go.
Okay.
So again, you need a payment method set up in Xero for this. So you can have Go Cardless or Stripe are 2 examples. Again, these are so easy to set up accounts with Stripe and Go Cardless. They're literally just like a form that you do online. You submit some ID. It's a little bit like opening a bank with a challenger bank. You know, often you can do it on an app. It's that type of process. It's really, really quick and simple to do. And then so easy to integrate with Xero and get everything working. So these things don't take a lot of tech knowledge or anything like that to do. And it's something that kind of me and my team, we're doing doing all day supporting customers with this type of thing.
Yeah.
So pay by statement, when you send your statements out to your customers, there'll be a link that just says pay the balance in full, and it allows your customer to click on that and pay all the invoices in the statement in one go. Brilliant. They don't need to worry about adding them up, working out how much money they owe you. They can just click on that link, takes them straight to their bank, and they can pay.
Super frictionless. Love the sound of it. And again, really good example of what we're talking about taking that friction out so that the customer doesn't even have to think.
Yeah. Number 3, tap to pay. So, contactless payments have taken off in the last 10 years or so, and you used to have a card reader. You don't even need a card reader anymore. If you've got Xero, then you can take card payment on your phone. Yep. Just by simply holding your phone out to somebody, they can tap anything contactless against it and you can take a payment.
And same with lots of the payment process. I mean, our massage woman in our house, she takes payment. She doesn't even have the little device anymore. It's just phone to phone. I was so impressed. I'm like, yeah, that's brilliant. There's no barrier now for the business owner to even need to carry another device with them. It's like,
exactly.
Wow.
So you don't have to do this through Xero. Zettle, SumUp, even some of the challenger banks offer this functionality on their phones as well, if you've got a business bank account with them. So again, something that you've got bank fees with, but if you're getting instant payment from your customers there and then, rather than having to go back to the office, send an invoice to them, hope that they send a bank transfer to you, that speed up of that cash coming into your business instantly just by saying, can you pay me now please, is game changing.
Brill.
Number 4, QR codes. So a lot of the banks like Metal, like SumUp, for example, PayPal, they allow you to generate a QR code, which you can then embed on your invoices or just simply bring up on your phone and allow somebody to scan it. And it then opens in their banking app, automatically populates your bank details for them, and they just need to click the Pay Now button.
Wow,
on their banking
simple.
app. So even removing that barrier of somebody having to enter your bank details into their banking app.
Amazing. Perfect.
Number 6, pay now buttons on invoices. Number 5, pay now buttons on invoices. So pretty much all the systems now offer this. And similar to number 2, where we said it was pay by statement, all of your invoices could go out with a link or on it that just simply says pay now and allows the individual to pay that invoice. So again, you
see that from all the big accounting software now, don't you?
Yeah, and this is the great thing. It's embedded into Xero as standard, and even Sage have got it and other systems like that. You just need to activate it by creating an account with somebody like Go Cardless or Stripe, which is really simple to do. And again, they can just click on that. It takes them straight to their bank account and populates your bank details, and they can pay that invoice. It's so easy.
Perfect.
If you set this up in the correct way, so on Xero, you can add as many payment methods as you like. So you could add Stripe, Go Cardless, Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, so that when somebody clicks that Pay Now button, they can choose exactly how they want to pay as well. So it's not, you don't just need to pick one, like pick Stripe and everybody has to pay that way. They click that button, they choose exactly how they want to pay.
Amazing.
And number 6, we've got pay by card link. So for some businesses, they might be thinking, look, I don't want to pay the Stripe fees, or, this comes up only every now and again. Somebody will say to me, can I pay by card or something like that? Yeah. And Apron have started offering this functionality. So Apron's a piece of software that we use for purchase invoice processing. It's like a way of capturing your invoices, and we use it for payment runs. But they've just introduced this really cool thing that you can go and you can just generate a link to say, I want to send this link to somebody so they can pay by card. Yeah. And you can email that link to somebody or text it to somebody, and it allows them to put their their like credit or debit card details in and pay there and then.
I guess loads. This isn't just an Apron. I guess loads of places do this because, again, Daniela, our massage lady, last time she didn't have her something on it. She said, "I'll send you a payment link," and then she just texted me this link, and I just went straight to the link and paid.
What's really good about the Apron link is number 1, Apron's free to use, so there's no reason why you can't have an Apron account. And number 2, you can pass on the card charges. So you can't do this with B2C because you're not allowed to pass credit card charges onto consumers. But if you're sending this link to a business and they want to pay by credit card, you can tell Apron to put the credit card charges on. So you end up with the same amount in your bank, and all you've done is made it easier for your customer to pay you.
That sounds like you save one side of friction, but you add friction on the other, because then the business gets it. They can't match against the invoice, so it doesn't match against the PO because the price isn't the same.
But they paid you, so that's not your issue.
No, but if you're adding on the card fee, then all of a sudden the amount they're expected to pay doesn't now match what they're expected to pay.
Yeah, but they're going through the process. They'll see the invoice there, and they'll see why you're charging them the extra. It'll be displayed separately as the card fees, and Apron shows that information. So
I just wonder how much it would block the business from paying rather than choosing. I would
Look,
probably
I think
think,
you're
I'm not paying. I'd just
overthinking
ring them and
this.
say, oh, can I pay in a different way?
I think you're overthinking this because sometimes people will want to pay by credit card because they'll be collecting Amex points, or they'll want to pay by credit card because they want the protection of using a credit card versus a bank transfer, for example. And we have people say to us all the time, can I pay by credit card?
Oh, I see. This is on a basis that it's a benefit to the person that's doing it. They can put it on credit.
If it's a request.
Yeah,
and you might be thinking, well, I don't have Stripe or I don't have any method for allowing people to do that. You can literally just log into Apron, get a hyperlink, email it to them and say, can pay on here. Job done. And that money just arrives in your bank.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's a really interesting array of additional ways that people can get their customers paying them. And I would imagine that most people are doing literally one of them. And there's 7 different ways there. So it really goes to show that you can really, really start to work on that part of your business to remove that friction. Just trial it and see if it suddenly helps your cash flow. I mean, what's the worst that happens? That it becomes too complicated and you pare it back again. I mean, you'd find the balance, and you might find that offering 3 of those is enough to get the friction away, rather than offering like an entire suite because it's too. So just play around with it and see what it is. But you can bet your bottom dollar that if you only offer one way to pay, that you're probably causing yourself an issue. Yeah,
so we do this in Profit Cash Growth, depending on what package somebody comes to us on. When people are on our starter package, we insist that they pay us by direct debit because the margin, firstly, the size of the debt that we're chasing on a monthly basis makes it quite onerous to have somebody needing to do credit control.
Yeah.
So the 1.5% that we're paying to go cardless for a direct debit more than is covered by saving the time of an individual not having to do credit control.
Yeah.
So we push this to the smaller customers that are also less likely to be doing payment runs and all of that type of thing. But then the bigger customers that we've got where we're encouraging them to do payment runs, not sign up to direct debits, all of that type of thing, we're not suggesting it to them. So it's also about having flexibility in your business as well. We're not suggesting that you force every customer to go onto direct debit. We're not suggesting that you tell people they can't pay you by bank transfer anymore. It's just about making sure that you're thinking about your customer base, all the points of friction there might be, and that you know all the tech that's available to support you by getting cash into your business a bit quicker.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Claire. And this week, I've got a really interesting Profit Cash Growth Extra. So, as you know, Claire, I'm a big reader, aren't I?
You are.
I read a lot of books,
bookworm.
A lot of books, like probably 100 a year, something like that. And a couple of things happened. Like I had a real mindset shift a few years ago when I heard somebody else suggest this, which was like this whole thing about don't feel guilty about needing to read a book literally cover to cover. Because often I'd get like a third through a book and it'd be a bit of a slog and I'd think this is not really bringing me any value. But I'd feel like guilty and like I'd got to finish it.
And I have a similar problem that I get bored quite quickly. And if a book starts to become repetitive,
yes, and
I completely switch off and I put it down.
Most business or self-development books are usually quite they repeat the concept. So once the concept is sort of gone into your brain, then you've kind of absorbed it. So anyway, this is where I've used AI to really help me with my ChatGPT app. And the first thing I've started to do is I've started to feed it. I just take a picture of the front of the book and I just say, is this a book I should be reading cover to cover? Does it fit with where I currently am in my life and my business and what I'm trying to achieve? And oh my God, it's absolutely amazing what will come back. And often it will come back with exactly where that book fits in your repertoire, whether it's, they often refer to it as like gold shelf. So I've managed to categorize books into these gold shelf books, which are like repeatable reading books that compound over time that you should read every 2 to 3 years.
How many books does it suggest you have on your gold shelf?
My gold shelf has currently got about 7 or 8 books on it now.
And interestingly,
I tell you what, I will tell people for another Profit Cash Growth Extra, I will tell them my gold shelf books.
What was the one that was added last night though? We were doing
Profit by Numbers. It was your book.
We put that through ChatGPT and said, should Simon be reading Profit by Numbers? And it said, absolutely, this should be on your gold
shelf compounding book. This is a operating manual for running businesses, and it was very, very complimentary, and I don't even know where I got all that from. Anyway, so this really helps because it really breaks down. It says for where you are now, yes, this is, but I mean it's pretty brutal because I've had a few books where it's literally said, do not even read this. This does not align with your values, does not align with how you think about leadership, business, or whatever that is. This is a waste of your time. And for others it will say, read chapter 1, 2 and 3 and chapter 8 back to back, skip the other chapters, And that's been absolutely phenomenal. So it's been really, really good to kind of go through books and get all of the bits that I need out of it and then be able to move on to the next one. So I might end up reading more books by doing this way, which is scary.
Only getting the valuable bits, because I was struggling. Multipliers we were reading when we were on holiday over Christmas, and I was really struggling to get through it because I got to sort of chapter 3 or 4 and I was just like, I just feel like this is just the same thing over and over again, just said in different words with different examples. And stuck it into ChatGPT. It said, read chapters 1, 2 and 3 and then skip to 7 and 8. Job done.
And I've also done this to have a cleanse of my bookshelf, haven't I, as well, which was a Sunday afternoon job I did, which was literally to take a photo of every one of my bookshelves and to say, look, I want to get rid of 25% of my books because I want to make room for some more. And which one should I throw out? Which one should I keep? And it literally went through each time saying, bin this. You're not going to learn from that again if you've read it. Keep this one, keep this one. This is where the whole gold shelf thing came about, because now it's drafted itself into this thing about me having this gold shelf of stuff that is like fundamental.
That you should read every year or two.
So do honestly play with it. It's just been amazing how we've used AI to really sharpen the saw, so to speak, and now I can develop and learn even quicker because I'm taking out some of the fat and the friction. Talking a whole episode about friction here, fat and the friction from my book reading and my studying. So really, really like it. So thank you for joining us for another week's podcast. Hope you enjoyed that one. As always, very, very applicable to all business owners, no matter how small or big. So do share this episode with any business owner friends, just so they can check that they're offering as many different payment options to their customers. As always, if you feel like you might have outgrown your current accountant and you'd like to work with Claire and the team at Profit Cash Growth, nip over to the website profitcashgrowth.com. On there you can book a discovery call with Claire, pop your time in a diary and see how she and the team can help you guys out. And as always, please do listen back through the podcast. We're way over 100 episodes and every single one is hugely valuable. We get some great feedback about the topics that we cover and how they really help people. They really are designed to be tactical, aren't they, Claire? Tactical.
Yeah.
Rather than theoretical. So it can be hugely helpful. And
tactical's not the right, practical.
Practical, tactical,
do
practical.
This,
do that. A handbook through your life. A guiding hand through your life. And as always, also we do a weekly newsletter as well, don't we? So if you go to the website, pop your email address in there, and every week you'll get some fantastic further tips for your business from us. And as always, we will see you again next week, bright and early.